Everybody, welcome back to another CSA season. It's Sarah the Urban Farm Gal, and today I'm going to show you how to use 6 of the 7 items that you got in your CSA share today. So to get started, this salad is based in arugula and chard, and if you want to add a different green you can add some spinach or even just some plain head lettuce if you like. But since we got arugula and chard in our share today, that's what we're going to use as the basis for our salad. But first things first, I'm going to I have here just a nice handful of asparagus. My asparagus is actually, it just finished up in my garden. So this is actually from the grocery store. I'm going to saute this in just a little bit of olive oil and some salt, and that's it. So I'm just going to cut these into about 1-inch pieces, about like so. Just enough to make it more bite-sized. I like to just shove my salad in my mouth, so I prefer things more bite-sized. While this is cooking, I'm going to cut up the rest of the ingredients for the salad. So I'm using my cast iron skillet. I just brought it over here because it's easier than hauling my cutting board over to the stove. And in this, I'm just going to throw some olive oil and a little bit of salt. Salt, not a lot. Olive oil. You don't need a lot of it either, but since this is cast iron, I like to keep it well seasoned, which means I always add just a little bit of extra oil just to make sure things don't stick. There's my extra. And while that is cooking over medium heat on my stove, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some stuff and throw it in a bowl. So here's my bowl I'm going to use for tossing. I took 1 apple that I had in the fridge, cut it up into bite-sized pieces. See? Bite-sized. Into the bowl. Oh, look here, Maybell. 1 more piece for you. I also took about 3 ounces of, this is pepper jack. You can use whatever cheese you want. You don't have to use cheese at all. Okay, we got chives and oregano in the share today, so I'm using both. Last time I made this salad, I didn't use chives, but they sound good, so I'm going to do it. I'm not using all of the chives that came in the share, maybe 1/3 to 1/2 of what you got in your bundle. So depending on if you want a little more oniony taste or a little less, then you can adjust to your own taste. So I always chop these up really finely. They're 2 to 3 millimeters in size, like width-wise, that I'm cutting. You can certainly cut them bigger. You can see that they're pretty tiny. And just scoop them up and toss them in. It's been a while since I've made a video. I've been busy traveling and just working in the garden. I've been cooking a fair amount. I just haven't had time to make videos. I was gonna do one when I went on my cabin adventure last weekend with my friend, you know, the Sandhill Crane adventure that I did last year and shot a video. Took all of my equipment, got up there, realized I forgot my rechargeable batteries. I was like, crud, I can't do it. Well, then I was rummaging around in my camera case after I made dinner, of course, and I found 4 AA batteries, which is exactly the number I need to make my video. I know. Woo! These chives are strong. And let's go ahead and do the oregano while we're here. A couple extra chives. So with the oregano, I just chop it really coarsely. I don't worry about how big or small it is, really. You could throw whole leaves in there if you are really lazy, like I usually am. There's no rule saying you have to chop your oregano. But when you cut it, it does smell really good. We got radishes. I didn't end up with any, so I found a couple baby radishes in my garden. Most of them are still too small. So you can take as many radishes as you like. I used a pretty good number of radishes last week when I made this. Probably, I don't know, 7 or 8. And this is new, but I'm going to use some rhubarb. So I know some of you only think rhubarb should go with like strawberries. Let me tell you, I made a really good rhubarb bread pudding. That's what it was. And I threw some raisins in just to kind of add a little sweetness. Man, it was good. Unfortunately, I made it the way I normally cook, which is by not measuring any of the ingredients. So I didn't really feel like a video was appropriate unless you just want to see how I normally cook. Let me go stir the asparagus. With that asparagus, you're just going to cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then you're going to turn the heat off. We're not cooking it till it's soft. You still want it to be a little crunchy. You're just going to kind of make it more aromatic and bring out some of the flavor. So anyway, where was I? Oh, right, rhubarb and bread pudding. It was really good, but I don't measure when I bake a lot of the times. And so when I make these videos, I feel like I should probably measure out my ingredients. So if you want to make it too, you can. That's why I didn't do a video. But maybe I will, just so you can see how I normally am in the kitchen, because this is all just for show, folks. That was 2 relatively long stalks of rhubarb. You got anywhere from like 2 to maybe 3 or 4 stalks of rhubarb, so you don't have to use all of it if you don't want to. You don't have to use any of it. And then you got some Swiss chard. Again, I didn't end up with any. I'm gonna go turn the asparagus off. How did I know that was the exact moment I wanted to turn my asparagus off? I could smell it. Once you start to smell it, then you're done. Turn it off. You can leave it in the skillet if you want and let it kind of cool down, but turn it off. Where was I? Oh, right, chard, yes. So we got chard in the share today. Oh, look, more oregano. You can stay over there. I, for some reason, didn't end up with any, so I went and picked some out of my garden. I'm just gonna chop it roughly. I don't like the taste of the charred stalks. There's my chickens. Somebody's laying an egg, and I think somebody else is upset that the nest box that they all lay in is taken. So there's like this little power struggle going on right now. I still need to wash my arugula. Last week I used my own from my garden. It's really pretty. It has little purple veins. I love it. It's also quite spicy, but super tasty. If you're new to the CSA, always, always, always wash your produce really well before you eat it. This is all organically grown, but you should always, always, always wash your produce. So just do it. And if you don't have a salad spinner, I would highly recommend getting one, because we get a lot of greens with the CSA, and I had never owned one before I joined the CSA, but I use this thing all the time. I hate washing greens. This makes it so easy. Also, I prefer the one that you hand pump the lid as opposed to the ones with the strings that you pull. I have read, I have not had any personal experiences with this, but I have read that the strings are prone to breaking and then you're hosed. So go with the hand pump and there's nothing to break. Break. The other kind of break. B-R-A-K-E. I did it. See, I told some people today that I can't spell out loud, but I just did. 5 letters is about my max though. Oh my gosh, those girls. All right, I'm gonna use all of this arugula. You don't have to. If you have a lot of chard and you wanna tone it down with a little bit of lettuce or something like that, then go ahead. I'm also gonna pull my asparagus out, throw it in the bowl. Okay, again, I'm just gonna roughly chop this arugula. Some of them are pretty big, so some people might call this bite size. I don't know that I would. It's pretty common to get little sprigs of things that don't look like what you're supposed to have. So because it's organically grown, it's pretty common to get a few little straggler weeds in there. You just pull them out. Oh my gosh, those girls. They're on one this afternoon. Usually they're done laying their eggs by now. I don't know why they're still, but I tried to check eggs twice already, and I got the stink eye when I opened the box, and my buffalo bean tin was in there laying an egg. So just left her alone. we'll check again later. So that's all that we need to put in there except for the dressing. I just happened to find this Newman's Own. It is honey apple cider and it is really good. And it goes really well with this salad. So I found it on clearance at Safeway, which makes me think either Newman's Own has discontinued making this particular one or Safeway has stopped carrying it. I suspect it's the latter. Anyway, I don't use a whole lot, maybe a 1/3 cup to a 1/2 cup. Love these things for tossing it all together. If you want to throw other things in here, you can. Some nuts might be really good, like toasted walnuts or hazelnuts. Or some sunflower seeds. I love sunflower seeds in my salad. It's like the best thing ever. And if I had sunflower seeds, they would be in here. I don't. This looks pretty good. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, like that much more. Oh my gosh, this stuff smells so good, you guys. If they stop making this, I'm just gonna cry. Or I'm gonna make it myself because the ingredients are pretty simple except for xanthan gum and malic acid, which I don't have, but I don't need. Okay, so this is your salad. Beautiful. Looky there. Yeah. I'm actually ready to eat dinner and it's not even 4 o'clock. I might have to eat some anyway. One other thing I'm gonna put on here. My father-in-law smoked us some Idaho trout and I just kind of broke it into pieces. It flakes really easily. And so when we had this for dinner the other day, we just sprinkled a little on top. But the fish goes really well with it, and the smoky flavor adds yet another little flavor depth that complements all of these things really well. So I was quite pleased with myself for coming up with this idea. And I don't even really like fish, but this was good. It's because it doesn't taste like fish. Little fish, little salad, we're good to go. Go eat your dinner now. This is delicious. Try it. And all you have left is bok choy, which if you're looking for bok choy recipes, I have one on the website from a couple of years ago. It's bok choy and garlic sauce. So if you've ever eaten green beans and garlic sauce at a Chinese restaurant, it's basically the same thing, just substitute bok choy for green beans. And it's quite delicious. Okay, well, week number 1 is down. We got 19 more weeks to go, so things will only get better from here. And stay tuned for next week. Check Facebook on Monday evening, and we should have an idea of what we're getting next Tuesday in our share. Okay, I'm signing off for now. Till next week. Ciao. Those chickens, hey Bale. They's crazy.